Okay. All right. We have Himanshu here. Hello, Himanshu.
Thank you for having me, Sahil. And
Yeah.
it's uh, it's nice of you to be doing this.
Yeah. I just felt like I know Himanshu the dad. I've seen Himanshu the husband. I've not seen or met the real Himanshu. You know, that's what
Yeah,
I'm hoping to get out of this. All right. So, how are you? Really,
uh,
how are you?
I think I've been good.
Hmm.
Like when all this Corona COVID thing that started, you know, just the change to stay at home and not go out, and the change to the work routine and all of that. I think
Hmm. Hmm.
if you if I ever think back 6 7 months,
Hmm.
I think it's been not bad. We've adjusted, all of us have adjusted well. And if like we never knew what's gonna come, in
Hmm.
March, April, when all of this had just started.
Hmm.
So if you were to ask, if what do you think 6 months ahead, if you'd asked me this question in March, I probably would have said, I don't know, it's
Hmm.
gonna be very tough. And 6 or 7 months down, I think it's been okay. It's been tough, but then I think we've all adjusted well. So no complaints as of now. I think it's
It's
it's been
amazing.
good. It's been okay. Yeah.
And the family gets to see you every day. So,
Yeah, and I get to see them. I get to see my second kid, which
hmm.
is which is kind of nice, for a change.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
seeing the kid with you every day, which I did not have that chance, with the first one. So it's
Yeah,
it's good to be home, good to be seeing them, all of them. Yeah.
that's awesome. And I should have mentioned this on my introduction. Himanshu is my brother in law.
Mhm.
And yeah, okay, that's out of the way. All right. So the first thing I want to ask you, man, is what was that? We're going to jump straight to your childhood, okay? What
Mhm.
was that one memory of your childhood that still sort of actively, plays in your head?
I think I've had a very like normal, uh, boring kind of childhood. You know, Nothing extraordinary, nothing special,
Hmm.
uh, except that I probably had video games before everyone else. Like my dad has been like he was someone who would find interesting stuff, collect interesting stuff,
Hmm.
especially around electronics, music. So
Yeah.
he's always been one of those. I've kind of inherited that from him. So, I've had a Nintendo when I was in kindergarten.
Hmm.
Uh, I've, as I said, had a pretty basic, boring childhood. No special stuff to mention. I
Nintendo is not
was,
boring, man. Like if you had Nintendo as a child, that's not boring.
I mean, yeah, but then, and I think I've seen the other side of things. So I think you've had kids, you always have kids who are more, especially in my age group, who
Hmm.
are more, say, physically active.
Hmm.
But I was always the child mm, who would stay home, play video game at home.
Hmm.
Of course, go out, play the games outside. But then, the selling point for any kind of thing that you wanted me to do
Hmm.
was the video game. So, like, my mom used to say, that if you study for 3 hours, you'd get half an hour of Nintendo time. Okay, you study between 2 and 4, and you get to play Nintendo from 4 to 4:30.
Yeah.
So that used to get sold. Like I used to just buy that essentially. So and that's why I'm saying like it was a pretty non-happening, basic, boring childhood. Uh,
And you
even start. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
were you a pampered kid?
I think I was. Uh, so I was actually born after 11 years of my mom and dad's marriage. So
I didn't know
and they
that.
had
Hmm.
they
Okay.
had a lot of trouble initially. Like before me, they had trouble conceiving. a lot of other stuff, medical
Hmm.
issues.
Hmm.
So when I came after 11 years, it was kind of, that I was pampered.
Okay.
And I was
That's
actually the
understandable.
first kid in about 20 years in our family, like the extended family.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so it was kind of that phase where like, and that is why, my cousin brothers, my cousin sisters, all of them are easily more than 10 years old to me, 10, 12
Ah,
years. I don't have a cousin who's, you know,
in the
just a
same
little
age group.
older. Yeah, I
Hmm.
do have the same age group cousins, but all of them are younger. So I was the
Okay.
first one
Hmm.
amongst the second group of cousins that we essentially have. So yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
See, I didn't know this.
yeah,
That's fascinating, dude.
yeah.
And you've obviously you've been here around the same time now, 5 years almost.
More than five now. Then yeah,
Hmm. Do
we
you
crossed five.
about yeah about that?
Mhm.
Uh, how much do you miss them, man?
Family, I do miss them. I
Hmm.
think I miss the the close knit family, like parents, my sister, some cousins. I do miss all of them. So I think that's the one thing.
Hmm.
When you generally talk about how what's the pro and the con, of living abroad, and I think the common con would be that you would miss your family.
Hmm.
Everything else is well taken care of, a good job, decent job, kids, good schools,
Hmm.
you are you being provided for in terms of food, social security, all of that. So I think all of that stays covered. But then the one thing that I think everyone misses is the family. And I think it's the same with all of us, with me as well.
Hmm.
So
And
yeah,
with the parents not getting any younger, it's
exactly. It's hard.
every passing day is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
is. And there is always the question, occasional dilemma that whether you should be here or you shouldn't be here. And
Hmm.
that question is never around, your job. It's not around your career. It's not about your kids. It's this question around your parents,
Hmm.
the family that is behind. If you choose to, when you choose to come here, you're essentially choosing to stay away from them. And that
Hmm.
choice is essentially what kind of defines if you're going to live here or there,
Hmm.
whatever you choose, essentially.
Yeah, and would they be? I know it'll be hard for you to move back. Would they be sort of keen? Would the health permit, for them to move here, and because
Yeah,
that'll
I
be
mean,
ideal,
so,
right?
yeah. And I think whatever hope we have is around that line, that we'd
Hmm.
be able to get the parents here.
Hmm.
If not the next, then the next year, but essentially trying to get them here.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure that we can manage like 6, 7 months here, 6, 7 months there.
Hmm.
That kind of a lifestyle. It's not impossible to manage that.
Hmm.
And the idea is that we'll be able to hopefully do that in the next couple of years.
And I've seen a lot of people doing that. I think it does work out. My neighbors back in Delhi did the same thing. I
Yeah,
they One of the kid was here in Canada and one of them was in US. So
yeah,
they'd stay 6 months in India, 3 months here, and 3 months US. So it's not
can work
ideal.
out.
Like, yeah, it's not perfect, but the travel is, I don't know, the travel is hard, right? Like it's 20 hours. So,
Yeah, I mean that itself again is one point where I think it's kind of a con living so far away. That
hmm,
you have when you want to travel, it is at least a 15-hour direct flight, and then with that 15-hour flight comes 4 or 5 days of jet lag
hmm.
both ways. So and to that, you gotta add the fact that you're traveling with two kids.
Oh, yeah.
So the journey, the whole idea of traveling, it
Hmm.
becomes a more cumbersome, a headache kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, so far it's been okay. I'm hoping that we can do something and work something out with parents. If they
Hmm.
can move here, that'd be ideal. We'll see.
Hmm.
I think it's still something we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is if someone asked me this, I would possibly have a very long answer, but would you say you're happy?
Mm, yeah. So I think so. So the thing here is,
And you
so
can take as
broadly,
much time
yes.
as you
Like
want
first,
answering this one.
just give you a short answer. I think it's yes.
Okay, all right.
But I do think that I'm more of someone who likes to take off things that are not applicable. So
Okay.
when you ask me, are you happy? I'd say I'm definitely not unhappy.
Hmm.
Like I'm definitely not unsettled. I'm definitely not, sad. So I think once you've covered that part, and you again ask me, are you happy? Then I think the answer would be no one's really happy. Because at one point, with whatever you have, you would want to achieve more, you would want to do more, you would want to have more. So I think that's always there.
Hmm.
But broadly, if you again ask me, are you happy? I think so. I think yes. I'm
By and
broadly,
large, you're happy.
by and large, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're right. I mean, there's always something more that we need. It's a never-ending quest, right? But
right.
uh, as long as all your sort of basics are covered and like,
Covered. Exactly. So I think that part is well taken care of. Uh, in every sense, really.
hmm,
So, from the sense of career, I'm fine.
hmm,
From the sense of family, we're fine. From the sense of having friends, you
hmm,
guys are here,
hmm,
family, everything otherwise is fine. I think it's just the fact that you would want to do more, you would still want to achieve more, and all that. So, I think
hmm,
from that end, I do think that I still have a little bit to go. But yeah, I think I'm not complaining.
that's
Yeah.
a very good answer. That's a very, very nicely handled answer.
I,
Excellent.
I realize now that you've got a new microphone as well. I
Yeah.
didn't
How
bother
do
to
I
do it.
sound, by the way?
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Nice,
nice.
right?
It's clear. Yeah, it's clear. It's not too much. It's picking up your voice nice. So,
I had to do this, man. Like I told you, I had planned this almost 5 months ago.
mhm.
And I'm like, I'll get a microphone and I'll get this and that. I'm like, you know what? I don't need anything. I was even thinking of getting like a webcam or something. I said, I'm like, you know what? That's what stops us. The gear stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, I
It's
know. I know.
so, and I enjoy this. Like I said, it's a great way to know you because we meet every
Yeah,
now and then, right? But
yeah,
it's never like us talking. There's always so much going on. There's fun and games, but it's never like us really chatting.
yeah, yeah,
So that
yeah.
I really like. Okay. Uh, Now, the next thing I'm very curious about is, and curious with a lot of people, what's your relationship with money? Does it sort of dictate, the decisions that you take? Has it been a source of constant stress? Or I want to say, or does it come to you easily? This is something I'm personally very, very curious about because I have a very horrid relationship with money. But
Mhm.
this is not my interview. This is your interview. What's your take on that?
So I think so. Money is not. I mean, the relationship is still horrid. I think, uh, but it's not that it comes hard. You know, it comes hard and it goes as fast as it comes. So my relationship with money is more like, I would not have trouble making it. I would have trouble saving it. So it never gets saved essentially. And to me, I sometimes fret about it.
Hmm,
Occasional, very occasional,
hmm,
not regular. But then the fact that you can use that money to get those small things that matter, or get those little things, or even at times big things, but things that would give you that small piece of happiness. I think that is that part is good. That part is satisfactory. So you
So the
know,
act of making it is not something that stresses you out. Like, how is this going to work out? How is that
no.
going to work out?
So I
Okay.
think that way I've been kind of lucky
Hmm.
that I've not had to work too hard to make money.
Hmm.
I mean, I've worked hard, but then I've seen people struggle as well, like really, really struggle. And when I say struggle, I'm not saying it in a negative connotation. I'm saying it in a positive way. That there are people who've really worked hard, and money is hard. Occasionally,
Hmm.
uh, call it luck, call it times. But broadly, I've not had a situation where I would give up on something that I really want.
Hmm.
And the reason would be that I don't have money. I mean, of course, there are things that
Hmm.
still, that I still can't buy.
Right.
But then, I wouldn't say that I have had or I've been in a situation where I had to give up a lot. I think I have more or less uh, tried to use what I have, or with whatever money I've had. I think we've kind of managed the expectations, the stuff. And to me, and I think to the family as well, I shouldn't be talking on the behalf of the entire family, but broadly, I think the understanding is still common,
Hmm.
that money is just the means to get the things that you want, you
Hmm.
know, to make things comfortable, or to make things interesting, or to make things nice occasionally, and we keep it that way.
Hmm.
It's not important. It's not important, but if you have it, it it does give you a little bit of comfort slash happiness slash occasional, just the splurge of it. You can spend some money, which is
Hmm.
good, which is nice.
So two important things. One is that I love the fact that you're not stressed about how you're going to make the money. But do you think that comes from the family? Has it sort of been passed on to you? Were your parents, they also in the same boat, like, ho jayega kinds?
Mm, no, so I think parents have. So I think it's more because we've all tried to do things from scratch,
Hmm.
like zeros. My dad started with zero, and I think most of our parents, like the generation, one generation up, they've essentially been, go-getters, all of them,
Hmm.
because you're coming from a background in India where none of us, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the friends that I know of, and the families that I know of, none of them were super rich. We were all okay, general middle class or
Hmm.
upcoming middle class.
Hmm.
And all of the parents that we have essentially have tried to build on that point, but they all started from literally zero, and the fact that they were able to do what they were able to do, the fact that when you see them now, you see them in, say, the upper middle class level. Living in Delhi itself is a privilege in some ways. That you are living in one of the most bustling, one of the expensive cities
Hmm.
of the world. Uh, and then when I look at that and put myself into that picture, that how has the relationship with money been? So I think the confidence that money is going to come, uh, as far as I'm individually concerned, has is also from the fact that uh, I have been on occasions literally been zero and then moved on, and achieved what I've achieved. So just to give you an example, when I came to Canada, I came here with a kid, with my wife. We had nothing in hand. We had very minimal savings in India. I did not have a stable job in India. I was just a adjunct, or what you call a ad hoc
Hmm.
professor at university. And those are not high paying jobs. Those are very decent government jobs. They're paying you about, let's say, $1,500 a month in India, in Delhi.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So you leave that job and you come to Canada without anything in hand. And you're coming from a academic background. So you're not likely to straight away go into a corporate and rule the roast, right? Like it's not gonna happen that easy. So the fact that I did that, we did that, and I eventually got a job in about a week and a half after landing. then just kept on what need like just kept doing what had to be done essentially. And now at the stage that I am, I'm pretty confident that even if I were to say lose the job tomorrow, I'm confident that I'm going to find another job in the next month or so, you know. So the fact that if you've gone through it once, then you're not essentially scared of going through it again. And I think that's what that confidence comes from. And of course, there is that social backing,
Hmm.
knowing that you're in Canada,
Hmm.
you're taken care of in terms of what if ever, God forbid, you end up losing your job, then the government is going to take care of you. If that doesn't work out, then of course you have some backing in Delhi as well now. The parents are there, you have a house there. So
Hmm.
you can go back if you want to.
That's always at the back
Uh,
of your mind.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there,
Yeah.
no matter how much anyone denies.
No one can deny.
That,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's there in the back. If
Yeah.
you ever want to make use of it, it's there as a choice. It's present as a choice. So I think all of this coming together is what gives the confidence. And I think that is pretty much the same with me. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for most of us who have started from zero and done their stuff here.
Hmm.
That confidence, I'm pretty sure, is with everyone.
Yeah, and the fact that you've sort of, in a way, you were at the lower end of the spectrum, and then you
Yeah,
came back up, right? So
yeah.
I was, I'm reading this book called "Can't Hurt Me." It's by David Goggins. If you're not
Hmm.
familiar with the guy
Hmm.
or with the book, you should absolutely pick it up tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
So it's the concept of kind of having a mental cookie jar, if you will,
Hmm.
wherein you have that you have a set of things that you have accomplished, and even if you're
Yeah.
in this you're in a place in life where things are not going right, you can
Yeah.
always fall back to that cookie jar saying, okay, you know what, I have this, I've done this, I've
Yeah.
achieved something, I've come back up, so I'll be okay. So
Yeah.
it's that confidence, I guess, that kind of changes everything.
Yeah. I think
Mm.
that's important. People say that, how does struggle affect you mentally? I think uh, if you've, if ever you've, come out from a struggle as the successful person, you
Mm.
know, if you've come out of it winning something, then you always carry that confidence into
Mm.
your next struggle,
Yeah.
knowing that you can do this, you've done this.
Mm.
So it's always good to have that. And I think that is a huge, in a way, it changes the dynamics of how you get into a trouble or how you, perceive a problem.
Mm.
Just the fact that you've solved something like this earlier,
Mm.
it does give you a lot of confidence.
For sure, for sure, you can fall
Yeah.
back on that. Now, before I move forward, do you have any hard stop? Do you have any meetings or something?
Nothing, I think nothing for now.
Okay.
But I'll figure out if it ever comes, I'll let you know. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah. Just cut me off, man. I keep talking.
No, it's
Uh,
fine.
okay. So now a lot of us have fears, okay? And
Hmm.
most of them are not paralyzing. Now, what I want to know from you is, do you have any fears that are paralyzing?
I mean, so
Like something that literally freezes you.
yeah, so I do have them, and I
Okay.
think those are all around the kids, the family, people close to you. It's not around money, it's not around career. All of that is fine, and I'm pretty sure, like, it's fine. Like, I'm not bothered.
Hmm.
The more troublesome, uh, you know, things that I fear are the things around people close.
Hmm.
Uh, so just like this COVID thing came up, and uh, people are talking a lot of things right now. It's a pandemic, yet you would see people who are talking crazy conspiracy stuff, that this is not real, that there is
Hmm.
something else going on, that there is more of I don't know, maybe a collusion between bigger countries of the world to do economic reset or something weird. So all of these, there are these theories
Just for pharma
around.
companies benefit or something. I've heard that shit too.
Yeah. Plus, theories around the all the countries of the world are now planning to go the route that China took, in terms of curbing of individual freedoms. Your privacy is just gone. You will all have an individual ID, a vaccine passport or
Mm-hmm.
something that would let you travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about a change that's so fundamental, you know, and with the pandemic, you're also worried about just the general health of everyone.
Mm.
And more so, like if you were, say, if I was single or if I was just married, I had two people to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
myself and my spouse. But now that you're a dad, you've got four people to worry about. And two of them are literally like the kids, especially, it just, it's scary to
Mm-hmm.
see that, you will have things like these coming up. And, I'm pretty sure COVID is just one that has come up now. In the times forward, in the times in future, with the climate change and all these things, which are everyone on everyone's back burner, you know, these things are going to affect everyone's lives generally. So it does scare me, that what's going to happen by the time these kids they grow up,
Mm.
when they are into the age that I am, what's going to happen to the world at that point in time?
Mm.
Or just the fact that, they are really small right now. What if you had a bigger pandemic coming up in
Yeah.
the next 2 years and things that you don't say, so you have, say, a vaccine or some sort of a way out of COVID with the medicines and whatever the hospitals can do. But what if the next pandemic doesn't have these
Mm.
things? That it's a pandemic that we have not seen before.
Yeah.
It's something that we can't solve. It's something that we cannot develop a vaccine for. What's going to happen then? And it's a very real fear, something
Mm.
that is not far-fetched, something that is not so far away. So I think, the fear that essentially is paralyzing
Mm.
is that fear where I'm I'm fearing things for my kids, what's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years,
Mm.
short-term fear, and then of course long-term stuff, the climate, what's going to happen to the world, how
Mm.
many more bigger issues are we going to see coming up? So yeah,
Yeah, that one's, I guess, more of a passive fear than active would be, like you said, fear of losing a loved one, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one, man. I mean, I'm exactly in the same boat. And with your in your equation, there's the kids, which by the way are the
Yeah,
most beautiful kids ever, which you know that. And yeah, no, that's
yeah,
a good, yeah, that's a good point. Now, do you ever feel the need or the pressure to sort of keep your emotions, your stressors, and your expression bottled up as a man, particularly, or do you express freely?
I think I generally do express freely.
Hmm.
But yeah, there are times when you best not express yourself. There are moments where you just try and let the, your spouse or your kid express
Hmm.
more. And I think it has to be a balance. Like
Hmm.
you can't be just bottled up. You can't just stay bottled up forever.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
rather than, opening your soda bottle once in 2 years, you open it once every month
Yeah,
and just let yourself out. But yeah, give the other person that chance to express freely as well. So I think it has to be a good balance, uh, you know. But
because
I don't, yeah, yeah. I,
what
I would personally not stay bottled up. I would never.
for as long as I've known you, I've seen you as this quiet pacified guy, and you're like you seem like you have it all in control. You're not gonna get mad at the world or anything. You just
I
got.
do get mad. So
Huh.
I do get mad. It's not that I don't. It's just that I try and say, try and make it look like I'm not mad, or try to just keep it in control most of the times. And then you would have a situation where I just lose it. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. So
So
that
you
situation would come.
so your filters are very active then.
My filters are active. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think
Hmm.
generally I don't, but
Hmm.
then there'll be moments where I just give up and say, okay, this is just not done. So yeah, and my face would at that moment, my face just tells you that this guy's pissed right now. So there are no filters. Once it's done, once it's there are no filters.
The next time we
Yeah.
meet, I'm going to be studying your micro expressions.
No, don't worry. So the thing here, Sahil, is you will not be able to get me to that point, right?
Get the point.
So there are people, or there'd be situations which would get me to that. You know,
I
I
can get
recently
you.
had a birthday. You remember that, right? Like, so yeah, even a small kid can just put you
Oh
off
my god.
moments, or give you these instances where you would be like so pissed off that you would want to just, yeah.
But that was a
Yeah.
giveaway. Like I could easily tell like you were on the edge and you
Yeah,
were.
so I told you, right? Like that is exactly what I am. So
Oh
like
my
if
god.
it's there on the face. Like I'm
Hmm.
not taking this anymore. But yeah, try to be nice. Try to keep it bottled up.
Till you.
Let's just say that it's a
Ah,
small bottle.
yeah.
So like you bottle it up to a point, and then once the bottle's filled, it fills up.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not getting filled up. It fills up, and then you open that small bottle. That's fine. But I don't have a big bottle. I can't keep taking it for a long time. So rather have
I
it
like that.
short,
Hmm.
small, yeah, and then tell that person, okay, this is not done. Yeah,
Yeah, because then if you have a big bottle, just it's not worth it if it bursts in a year or 2 years, right? Like
exactly. So like the explosion,
that's a
rather than
cyclone, man.
having a huge explosion, let's have
Yeah.
four small explosions.
I like that. I think that might be the caption of my video. Smaller explosions.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now I think it's similar to the last question, but kind of in continuation. When
Hmm.
was the last time you cried?
No, cry a lot. I fucking cry at like Hindi movies all the time. So crying is not there are these markers which you tell, this guy doesn't cry, or this guy cries more, or whatever. So I cry just as easy as anyone. So yeah, my BV makes fun of me. Every time K3G plays, like the face has tears coming down, and like she'd be just laughing at me. So yeah, it's a
K3G.
big thing that
You
I'm
said
telling you.
K3G, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
on
did.
record now. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
It's going to be on
I know.
YouTube.
That's fine.
What's the like? What is the one scene that makes you cry every time?
I think generally the scenes around the brothers separated, the scenes around them coming together with the mum. So
Yeah,
all those scenes, yeah, generally, yeah, yeah, no control, no filters.
I love
so
that.
so the
Huh.
fun thing is that Vidhi, like at every, so like say we are watching a movie and there's a strong emotional scene somewhere. So Vidhi, the first thing she would do is just come close to me, look like she'd just pierce me into the eyes and look, and she'd just say, "You're about to cry." So it happens quite frequently.
Oh my god. Dude,
Yeah.
the next time we meet, we're playing K3G. That's
No, so
I.
see, now it's, you've put it out. It. It's possibly not gonna happen. But generally, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
not gonna, pretend or portray that I don't cry or whatever.
Yeah,
I cry
exactly.
more than her. So, yeah.
No, that's excellent. That exactly is it's great. You don't you actually, like I said, it's kind of connected to the previous question. You don't keep it bottled up. Like a lot of people say, men shouldn't cry. I think that's shit. You have to cry.
I mean, it's
Again, it's not you're not controlling it really, but
yeah. So I think it's not related to gender. It's like how you are, how you're made generally.
mm,
The upbringing, the way you've been, you've gone through those situations, how you've behaved in those situations. That makes you, and
mm.
it's not about being based on gender. It's not based on gender.
I mean, it's not, but like that's what at least that's what I've heard
Yeah,
around. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
just yeah, you're a guy, you can't cry. If it's
Exactly. Yeah,
hurting, it's fine. I'm like, no,
yeah.
I cry more than
No,
anyone else
that's
does.
yeah, exactly. So
Amazing.
yeah.
All right, this is going great. I love this. Now the next one is a nice one. Okay, let's just
Okay.
say you have a couple million lying around. When I say couple million,
Hmm.
it could be like 10, 20 million. Okay, so your bills
Yeah,
are sorted. You don't need to worry about that.
yeah.
What would you rather be doing with your life at that point?
Well, that's a good question, and I think I've kind of thought about this.
Hmm.
So I would, you know, and because I've thought about it, I have a very logical answer to this.
Actually, can I cut you off for a second? This wasn't rehearsed at all. Himanshu didn't even have a list of questions. So
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
letting you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
So generally, like you might come across the answer as very well thought of, but I think it's because I have thought over this thing, this exact thing, that if you had, say, 2 or 3 million, 4 million,
Yeah.
$5 million lying around, what would you do? So what I would do is essentially not make a drastic change to my situation.
Hmm.
I would put that, so say if you have 5 million, I'm going to put about 3 million straight away into some investment and let it let it come out monthly, like let it take care of my monthly bills forever
Hmm.
for good. Okay.
Hmm.
And I would put aside, say, 1 million or whatever amount that we decide, family decides. That is for splurging. So you splurge all of that. So you would essentially get a good convertible car in a parking lot of a decent house, big house. And the rest of the things just stay as is. We're not going to change the lifestyle day and night, you
The
know.
profession or
Profession. So it depends on how big that amount was when
since
what I
I'm the
got.
since I'm the one controlling the amount,
So if
it's
it's as
25
big
million.
as so say it's yeah, so say
Uh,
it's ridiculously big and an amount that with which you don't want to work uh, at a corporate anymore, I would leave the job straight away.
Good answer.
What I'd be doing is more my stuff. So like trying to do something of my own. So I'll basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna put a safety net.
I like that.
Uh, Bills are covered, kids are covered, schooling's covered, everything's covered. Beyond that,
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep aside a good 20-30% of that amount and use it to try and do something of my own and put my time there, rather
Hmm.
than working at a corporate
Hmm.
for the job that I'm doing right now. So I would, yeah, just do it smartly. Not gonna do any big blunders. Like
Yeah.
I've thought over this very
Hmm.
thoroughly. So
Hmm.
yeah,
And it doesn't
it's
make sense to
probably gonna happen never. It's probably gonna happen never, but it's
no,
been thought of
dude. It
like
might.
thoroughly.
You never know. There's always 649, right? Or
Yeah,
or the
okay.
other the other
But
lottery stuff.
you gotta buy the lottery, right? Like for
Yes.
it to ever happen. So
Yeah. No, but I like that. You're not going to go reckless about it because you can lose it anytime, right?
yeah,
So out of 25, if you lost like 20, then what are you left with? Nothing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and would you like you'd start your own business then?
Yeah, so I would rather do something of my own for sure,
Hmm.
than doing the job that I'm doing right now. Um, yeah, I think it's just more sensible for everyone.
Hmm.
That if you can do something and own it, enjoy it while doing it. I think that is important, and it's something that I've tried before and I liked it. So, that urge to do this again is always there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I didn't. I mean, I'm amazed you had thought of something like this. Actively thought about it.
Yeah. Because
That's
it does come to your mind, that what if tomorrow you get an idea and you build something and you get some shit like a big amount of money suddenly. What do you
yeah,
do? What are
yeah.
you going to do then? So, that thought has passed my mind more than once. And
Amazing.
then when you have that thought again, you always, think what you're gonna do with it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I've kind of thought of things that I could do.
great, man. I like this. Okay. All right. So, what do you get offended easily, or what is the one thing that really offends you? Like,
My
I'll give you
offense.
an example. Like I get, I hate comparisons with people.
Okay.
So I get really offended when people compare me, whether it's to their successes or whatever. Right? You get the point.
Yeah. 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 No, so I think
What's
to me, I'm not as offended. So like offense to me is very strong. I
hmm,
don't take offense. And also because I have been consistently offended a lot, you know.
hmm,
You've had a, I did say that I've had a very boring childhood, but then a boring childhood in India essentially implies that you've gone through a huge amount of competition, a huge amount of comparisons, a childhood which has been too much focused on doing better than person A slash B slash C slash D. So if you've gone through that and
hmm,
then at the end of it, you've ended up somewhere where your parents stop saying it because they now really don't have anything to compare you to. So like to give you an example, I was really not good. I mean, I was decent or average in studies. I've never been exceptional. I've I went to a school which was, it's the CRPF school. So it was a police force school, and most of the students in our school were children of the CRPF wards, essentially.
okay.
So it wasn't the high tech, convent or the DPS or the modern school, not of that kind, completely different upbringing. And, with every class, the class size was about 40, 45. I've never been in the top five consistent. I used to be seventh or eighth, ninth, something like that. But standard, like consistent. There was nothing exceptional about me. The only two times when I, uh, topped the school was in class 10th and class 12th. So what happened was that I've been through that normal nagging childhood of, do this, do this, do this. And I tried to do it. It's not that I didn't try, I tried it, but then I was never able to do exceptionally well. I was not the exceptional kid.
Hmm,
But the times when it mattered,
mm-hmm.
so you had the class
10th and
10th
12th.
boards,
Hmm,
you had the class 12th boards. So class
hmm,
10 boards I topped. That was such a surprise that teachers couldn't believe it, that I got a call from my friend. And
hmm,
these are friends who just passed.
hmm,
Those were the kind of the friends I had, because I was always that company. I was always friends with those, and I've been friends with those. Like,
hmm,
didn't matter.
hmm.
And those guys are literally calling me and telling me, like, like they used to call me Chadda. Chadda, you fucking topped. You topped. Like it was like a disbelief
It was a surprise. Hmm.
on their side. Like it was like unbelievable that you can't believe that this guy topped.
So, what these guys amongst the top people or what?
No, no, no. So
Okay.
these are people who are, say, they are
B-
literally in the middle of the class or in the lower half of the class.
Okay, got
And
it.
they're calling me on a day
Huh.
that you got your 10th results. And they're telling me, Chanda, you fucking topped. How did you top? It was like that. Like the call was actually like that, that how did you
Oh
do it?
man. Huh.
So then you had, once you topped in 10th, it was more like, it was a fluke. Like people said, like kids were saying, it was a fluke. He just stopped, one good year. So in 11th, I was again. within class, I was ranked seventh. So I came back to my normal, what I was normally.
Seven's
So
not
again,
bad, by the way.
no, but you're still in the same group of people, same group of
Yeah.
kids. You're coming from being the 10th topper, the school topper,
Hmm.
like board topper, and then you're suddenly within class, within your section,
Yeah. Yeah.
you are rank seven.
Hmm.
So you're not even, I'm not rank seven in, say, the standard 11. I'm rank seven in 11A. That's one section. So I'm probably the 15th or the 20th guy in school on in the 11th section in terms
Yeah.
of marks.
Hmm.
So I'm not nowhere exceptional. I'm just fine. And then in 12th, again top. So it was more like, that you nudge me, nudge me, nudge me. I'm gonna give you an answer at my time and place of choosing. It was kind of like that. That,
Okay.
I'm not gonna answer you here.
Okay.
So I've gone through those portions of childhood where, I was not the, so like people were nagging me, comparing me, troubling me, in terms of studies, in terms of how I looked. So I've been a fat kid. I've been a huge fat kid all my school. And even right now, I'm literally I'm overweight. But even this Himanshu,
No, you're
it
not.
doesn't compare to the Himanshu that was till uh, college second year. You
Hmm.
can't compare this Himanshu to that. So
Hmm.
that guy had a waist size of 41,
Okay.
weighing more than 100 kgs, possibly.
This
I don't even remember.
so this is around when you were in school, right?
This is around when I was still college second year, so I'm about 20 years. So the
Hmm.
first 20 years of my life have been super overweight.
Hmm.
Not overweight, like I was the top overweight guy in class,
Hmm.
kind of like that.
Hmm.
So, you bring all of those things into the picture, and you're not looking at a very average childhood. Like I have had my issues, I've had
Hmm.
my troubles.
Hmm.
But once you've, given an answer in terms of, if you trouble me, this is what I'm going to do. So some of these, like in some of these things, you would like I know myself that I did this because I was pissed off,
Hmm.
that you did this to me. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to answer you in a different way. So I've done that, and yeah, and I think that is what has been, my the way I've seen things.
And it was a fuel for you, right? Like it didn't. A lot of people would have knee-jerk reactions, and they start doing things immediately in the heat of the moment.
So I've done that too. So it's not to say that
Hmm.
I've not done that, but
Hmm.
then that realization that this is possibly not the best answer, just wait for your time.
Hmm.
The answer will come, you'll
Yeah.
get an opportunity
Hmm.
to prove and to show. And it does come.
Hmm.
So I think I've waited, I've been patient that way.
Hmm.
And I mean, not to say that I've had, as I said, it hasn't been an uneventful childhood exactly, but there's nothing that I think has troubled me too much. If there has been trouble, I've managed to solve it. If
Hmm.
there's been an issue, I've fought with it.
Hmm.
With whatever the thing was, it wasn't big, but general kid stuff that you go through when you're in that age. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And growing up, what was your sort of support system? Who would be the one person that you'd talk to the most about,
So I've always actually
stuff?
this is something that I've kind of been a loner, generally.
Okay.
I've not been a guy who's had two confidant friends, that you talk to your friend about everything. I've
About
not
anything.
been that guy.
Hmm.
If at times, in fact, I've literally used to talk to myself, that I want Himanshu, I want you to do this,
Okay.
and take that as something that you really, really want to do, and make a plan and finish it. So I've done that kind of stuff. Generally, but also I think I'd say here that I've not had a situation where I really, really needed support.
Hmm.
So I've been lucky in that way that I've not had a situation or a position where
Hmm.
I have had to involve anyone else. I've not had a troubled friendship with all my friends. It's not been like that. I've had the occasional trouble, but everyone goes through that.
Hmm.
I've not been, I've not had I've not had difficult parents. I've had issues,
Hmm.
with parents, and I've seen my parents also having issues between themselves, and I've seen them.
Hmm.
Uh, but that has not had an impact on me where I've felt the need that I really need some support right now. I mean, that moment did come. It was possibly in college,
Hmm.
but by that time, you've already grown up a bit. You've already seen things a bit. You've already understood, that these are the things that you would be able to do. These are the things that you'd not be able to do, and more manage yourself, around those things. Also, I think by that time, I had good friends around.
Hmm.
College days are always like always for everyone. I think those are, you know, the best days that you live, free, completely out of responsibilities and just enjoying your time. So I think it was
Hmm.
more like, for the moment, I don't care, even if there are things that affect me, I'm happy. I'm okay. I'll figure it out. So I think, yeah, I'd say I've been lucky, really,
You kind
because
of
I've
built like
seen
that. Then you're headstrong overall, right?
exactly. So
Hmm.
you've not had big issues or issues which would trouble you.
Hmm.
And then by the time, you hit those issues, you've matured enough, your mind's matured enough, you've gone through things yourself, you know, to understand what you can do and how you would act or how you would behave or how you would go through them, the
Hmm.
patience, all of these things come about, by that time. So generally, I think, yeah, broadly, it's not been a terrible childhood. I think it's been okay. It's been good. I've been lucky.
That's fantastic. And how was you mentioned a bit about college? How was university? Like college? How was college?
So college was actually very much like what you portray of an engineering college, all guys. It was nice. It's amazing. I had a very good bunch, a very thick bunch of friends, five friends. Um, and again, we were the subtle guys, we were not the hot punch in our
Yeah.
college.
Hmm.
Average looking guys, all of us, very
Hmm.
average. And by the time we left the college, uh, everyone was talking about us. So it was like we never screamed, we never shouted, we never were the most happening group.
Hmm.
We used to do things, good things, great things, but we were very, very subtle. We were just quiet and do it and have our fun as well. So, you
Hmm.
would see us involved in all these festivals and,
Hmm.
dance
Yeah.
parties and all that stuff. So you'd see us everywhere.
Yeah.
But, because it was an engineering college, you had a group or a gang where you had some guys and some girls. And the girls, the number of girls was just so small that if they are in one group, then they just stay in that group through the 4 years. And if you're not in that group, then you're just someone else, no
Got
one's
it.
bothered because
Hmm.
it's an engineering college and girls are literally a very rare occurrence there, So it was always like that.
Hmm.
But again, the good thing was that the group that I had was very hardworking and always up to fun. Like we've done trips, we've done literally. I've been to US,
Hmm.
during my college days
Oh,
on
really?
college expenses, so I didn't pay a thing.
How?
So there's like me and my friend, we wrote a paper in a journal which was published in the US,
Hmm.
and the college paid for our expenses. We went to Orlando. That was my first flight, by the way. So
Hmm.
I had never, I had never sit in an aeroplane before.
Yeah.
That was actually my first flight ever, and the first flight was Delhi to New York, and it
Wow.
was on a ticket which was paid for by the
By the
college.
college.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
wow.
not paying anything on my from my pocket. And this was when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
And to be able to go to the US, and I went to Orlando, so essentially went to Disney World
Yeah, yeah.
and Universal Studios. So to be able to go there when you're 20 years old
Hmm.
with a friend, this is an experience really. So uh, yeah, I
That's
mean we've done
fascinating,
so.
dude.
As I said, like the group was
Huh.
good. We
Huh.
had people who were focused when they had to be. You had people who had fun when we had
Mm-hmm.
when we felt like
Hmm.
we've done our Gadies of North Campus.
Campus. Yeah.
I got a bike when I was in second year.
Now that's
My
a
dad
phase that
got
I
me a
want to
bike.
hear about. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you've done all that. You've done
yeah,
the cliches too.
I've done everything. And of course, with that, we've had good focused stuff as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think
That's
it's been
fascinating.
the normal stuff that everyone does and goes through,
Hmm.
in college.
Not people are not normally given an all expenses paid trip to Orlando.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's been a that's also because we were in an engineering college, and there are
Yeah.
things that you would do separately from your normal studies.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean,
It's a
the
big deal
point that I
still.
was trying to make was
Hmm.
that the group that I had was not only fun. Like it
Hmm.
was fun. We did the fun part,
Hmm.
but we did the work part as well.
Hmm. Of course.
Though I barely passed. So yeah, so no one knows this, but a 10th, 12th topper goes to an engineering college, and I flunked the subject. I flunked the subject for the first time in my life.
Huh. Oh,
Uh,
wait, so you never flunked a subject in school?
I hadn't flunked the subject in school.
Wow. Okay. All right.
No, so that's not so Sahil. That is not normal. Flunking a subject in school, okay, it is okay, but don't say that it's normal to flunk it. It's not normal to flunk it. It's okay. You can flunk it, yes. For a
Okay.
reason you can flunk it.
Mm-hmm.
You run well, or you really don't understand something, you can flunk it. But it's not normal. You wouldn't say that it happens to every kid, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. Okay. I
I
seem to
hear
have
you, man.
touched I seem to have touched something, but yeah,
Oh,
we'll
you touched like
talk about
five
that.
different nerves, but that's gonna be
Really?
offline.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. No. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Go on.
So I've flunked and I've,
Hmm.
again sat for that exam. That was
Hmm.
again an experience because in engineering colleges, you can't just resit that exam anytime you want. You essentially have to
Hmm.
wait the next year when that exam happens for the class that was a year younger to you.
Hmm.
And generally, the way these examinations are planned, so you would do like if you have, so imagine I'm in third year, I'm giving my third year papers, and there is a second year paper that I'd flunked. So that paper, the second year paper, is going to sit right between two third year papers.
Oh my
So
God.
I gave an exam today.
Painful.
I came
Hmm.
home. I have to prepare for this exam because this exam, second year exam, is tomorrow.
Hmm.
And then I come back home after tomorrow and then prepare for the next exam of the third year.
Oh
So there was
wow.
one night, the only night that I
Hmm.
have not slept at all was that night where I was giving that paper again.
Wow. And
Uh,
what
it was
subject was
fun.
this?
It was some stupid subject, man. And I couldn't believe I flunked it because it was actually impossible for me to flunk that subject. But I
Why?
flunked it.
Because you were good at it. Is that what you're
No,
saying? Hmm.
no, because the final paper was worth 60 marks. It was a
Okay.
theoretical paper, and I had attempted more than 50. So I'm pretty sure I was to get 45. Like it's a theory paper.
Yeah.
So there is nothing wrong, nothing that can go wrong, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I've attempted it, and I know that I will get it. So there is no way I can score a 31 in that subject. So that's another story. So the teacher who flunked me because he didn't check the final year papers. He didn't check the final papers. That teacher
What?
actually extrapolated the marks from the middle semester and essentially gave everyone marks from that mid-sem exam. He didn't check the final sem exams.
What?
And
Okay,
I
but
got to know this. I got to know this later because that teacher,
hmm,
without realizing he's the teacher who's flunked me,
hmm.
he comes to my home to meet my dad.
Oh my God.
My
What?
dad was a professor in DU, so he was a visiting professor in DU.
Yeah.
Comes home to visit dad, and he doesn't remember, but I remember his face. I know that he has flunked me. The only time that I've
Oh
been
my
flunked
God.
and wrongly flunked. And he's telling my father how good a student I was. Like he's literally saying all of that.
Oh
And
my
I just
God.
keep my head like wobbly around, like I'm doing this in front of him. And then by the time he leaves, like I just burst out in front of my dad and I'm telling him, this
You
guy
serious, dude?
is the most stupid guy that I've ever seen, you know.
Oh God.
He was bullshitting you when he said that I was the best student. I was the guy who flunked the subject. It was fun. But yeah, I've had
Professor XYZ, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you
well,
are,
yeah, he's possibly no unlikely. The weird
send
thing
it
is
to
I
him,
don't
dude.
even remember his name now. Yeah.
But you didn't go for a recount then? Wasn't that a thing?
So recounts are not exactly a thing in DC,
Hmm.
the college that I went to. Because you used to be under DU,
Huh.
it was always the like the stepchild, you know. That you were
Really?
here,
Okay.
yeah, you were here, you were
Huh.
separate.
Hmm.
So you're not really here, and we are okay, you know. Just stay here as long as you want. We're not bothered.
So it's like
Don't
a
bother
third.
us, we won't bother you. Exactly, that kind of a relationship.
So it's like a third cousin. You're
Kind of like that.
existing, but yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Is that a moha? Yeah, it
Yeah,
has to
that's a
be a moha.
Mohan. She's just woken up.
You can always bring a moha or demi or
Yeah,
vidhi
Vidhi
in
had
the
plans
video.
actually. So Vidhi had plans to bring the kid,
Hello, hello. Oh, she can't. Oh,
right
she's
in.
wearing headphones. How can she hear us?
Okay,
Ah,
Sahil, is it okay if we just say bye bye right now? Do you want to
yes.
talk more?
I do have a few things I want to talk to you more about, but if you have a hard stop, we can. You know what? Why don't we make it a part two then?
Okay,
I love that. Let's make it part two.
okay, all right. I
I
think we
have
can work something out.
amazing.
Let's do another part. Huh?
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. I really enjoyed this.
Sure, sure. So let's do it again. And I
Perfect.
think I can go back to Moha because she's
Daddy
getting her
duties,
home
man.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
All right, we'll catch up soon then.
Sure. Thank you,
All
Sahil.
right.
Nice talking
Take
to
care,
you.
man. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.